Hey everyone, yeah, it's about, let me check my time here, 10:58, almost 11 a.m. Yeah, I'm out here in downtown Newman because I had to take care of a overpayment to unemployment. Basically, for some reason, unemployment, when they were auditing a lot of overpayments for people, well, not overpayments, but the benefits, you know, what they pay to people. Apparently, sorry about that, but apparently when they were looking through these overpayments and everything, they saw that I didn't put anything down. And I told them what I got my first week at Kohl's or something like that. I couldn't remember. So basically I had to pay that back to them today. Hopefully it'll get there tomorrow. I did express, so you know, hopefully it'll get there tomorrow. It's worth it, especially, I mean, the price for express mail is worth it, especially if it's important. So hopefully it will get there to them in time. I mean, it's going to Rancho Cordova, so it's, you know, from Newman, it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I mean, heck, I got my Luna plush the moment it arrived in Sacramento. The day after, it was in my hands. So yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about there. But with that said, I wanted to also come on here and do a bit of a vlog for you guys, let you guys know what's been going on while I have the opportunity, because today the matriarch in our family is off. You know, so, you know, being off and everything, she basically decided, she needed a break. Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. This past week was an interesting one because, you know, her school season, if you will, ends a week from Thursday or Friday, one of those days. And thus, that's when the whole, as you know, following my channel, things kind of change. And they change basically to where I got to do stuff in advance, or at least try to find a way to do some content for you guys because of that situation. But with that said, she essentially is just taking this day off is what she's doing. And that's about it. That's what the matriarch is doing. But you can't blame them. You can't blame anyone else, if you will. You know, you really can't, because this week's been kind of interesting, to say the least. Like I said, it was a short week and all that, and also along the fact that not only was it a short week, but it was because of a graduation we had on Friday, and then we had the Apricot Festia over the weekend. But what was interesting is, and I'll get into this in a little while, when it comes to the Apricot Fiesta, or any fiesta, festival, fair, whatever you want to call it. I'll get to this in a moment. But I think, honestly, this is just my opinion, when it comes to the weather, maybe you need to tack on an extra day, pay the extra fee to hold on for an extra day, and go from there. That's just me. But anyway, I'll get into that. I'll get into why I'm saying that in a moment. But yeah, it was a short week and everything. You know, it was a short week and all that. I'm crossing the road here. But anyway, it was a short week, and basically what happened is that on Friday, I should say, we went to my third oldest nephew's graduation. He was graduating high school from Johansson High School in Modesto. So he was graduating there. And one thing, you know, a lot of people will agree upon, even those that were there will agree upon, is they need to basically, in my opinion, and I think anybody else, hold on for a second, guys. Sorry about that, but like I said, I think that one thing people will agree upon is, you know, basically when you do outdoor graduations, we do it at stadiums, you know, college stadiums, baseball fields, you know, wherever. You need to be very organized. You need to be more like, okay, make sure we have people, you know, people on this side and this side to escort those folks that are attending, that got tickets to attend, that they can go here in this section, find a seat, that's fine. Maybe save one or two, a couple for the family, reserve if you will. You know, make sure everything is organized. Excuse me, but you know, they didn't do that. You know, they didn't organize it. And it got to a point to where basically when they were letting people go down to the field to, you know, find their kids, find their, you know, graduates and everything, you know, when they were doing that, I'm just waiting for the cars to go by here. But when they were doing that, essentially, it's like basically trying to get out of a sardine can, a very tightly enclosed sardine can, to the point that my oldest nephew and niece had to help our matriarch basically go down the stairs because they didn't want anybody to run into her. You know, so yeah, it looks like we got a chicken here. It's running for cover. But anyway, they didn't want her to, you know, get hurt or anything, if you know what I mean. But anyway, like I said, it was just, you know, one of those graduations. It was nice and everything. It was hot, but we were in the shade section. We were in the home side of the stadium for the home team, so we had the shade. But again, the way they were working things around, it just felt like they needed to be more organized, especially when it came to letting people, you know, out and letting people, you know, go, you know, kind of be more like, okay, this row go first, this row go second. It's kind of like at church. When we do communion, they know how to basically say, okay, you next, you next, you next. That's what they should have done, but they didn't do it, unfortunately. So that happened, but it was a good graduation. Very proud of him, and he's heading to UC Santa Barbara, so that's pretty cool, along with a friend or two. Another thing that happened, of course, was the Apricot Fiesta, but that was kind of a strange situation because Friday, when we had to go to the graduation, it started, but it only started from 5 to about 10, and that's it. It's basically the initial beginning. It's mainly for pageantry and all that. You know, basically pageants, little Mr. and Mrs. Apricot pageant, Mrs. Apricot pageant, or Miss Apricot pageant and all that. That's basically what it was for. And basically, we didn't go to that. We never really do that much unless, you know, we have money and hey, you know, it's not that bad. Saturday usually is our day, but that was hot. That was like in the hundreds. Not even my older siblings went and everything. But, you know, one of them lives right there in town for, you know, where it's at. So it's like, okay, obviously, you know, they shouldn't have held it that day. In my opinion, what they should do, and I mentioned this earlier, is they should basically, when it comes to this kind of weather, you know, what they should do is basically pay the fee and hold off for an extra day. Say, here's Monday to make up for that hot weather on Saturday or Sunday or whatever the case might be. That's just me. That's just my opinion. Now, I'll finish off when I get back out of the store, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, guys. Sorry it took me long to finish up, but, you know, like I said, in the earlier part today in the vlog, basically, you know, this weekend was basically kind of interesting, to say the least. Like I said, it was Patterson Apricot Fiesta and the graduation for my third oldest nephew at Johansson High School, and in Modesto, that is. And basically, I will say that the graduation was nice and everything. He's got several awards, several acknowledgments and everything, leadership and state something. I think it was state. Let me check for a second. I have it right here. I have it right here, so it should say let me see. Let me see for, sorry. It was for, it's right there, okay. For the Golden States, I think it's Golden State Seal, I think. I'm not really sure if you guys can read that. Golden State Seal or something like that. Hold on. Hold on for a sec, guys. And trying to see where it is for the flashlight on here for a second. Yeah, Golden State Seal. It's the Golden State Seal and ASB Leadership Honor. That's what my field office nephew got. He got the he got the Golden State Seal and ASB Leadership Honors, which are right here, this one and this one. And that's where he went, if you will. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool and everything. And what was interesting, as I was saying in the video earlier, in the first portion of this vlog earlier, was that he had let us know. Actually, we found out from the people there, at the ceremony, that he and his fellow classmates, if you will, had to go today, I think between noon and 4, and get their paper portion of the diploma. So what they got was just the book, like just the holding case and all that, just the booklet, or just the book and everything. They had to go today and get the actual diploma to put in there. I'm assuming it's because they had a massive class, over I think 100 students. I wouldn't say 100. I would say over 100 students, 200 students maybe. I'm not really sure. I think it was over 100 students. But when I saw that, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. My niece, when she got her degree in criminal justice, didn't have to do that. When my oldest nephew graduated high school, he didn't have to do that. And I definitely know that me and my sisters got their got their GEDs, and I got my diploma. I didn't have to do that. I'm guessing it's because of the size of the high school that, you have to basically go that route, because you have so many students to hand out diplomas that it's just not going to be possible to get them all done within like one day. So yeah, that's what he had to do. And then this weekend was the Patterson Apricot Fiesta, and it was I'll say this very hot weekend for the fiesta. As a matter of fact, the day it started was Friday evening, 5 to 10, I think, and that's mainly like opening ceremonies, the Little Miss and Mr. Apricot pageant, and the Miss Apricot pageant, if you will, and stuff like that. Just opening ceremonies, get things up and going, if you know what I mean. And that started on Friday, and then Saturday usually me and my family will go and spend time there. Sorry about that, guys. But like I said, what was it? Oh yeah, the fiesta was also this weekend, and like I said, normally on a Saturday, me and my family go out and try to spend most of the day there. But because it was hot, we didn't go, and apparently not a lot of people went. Mainly because it was in the hundreds. It was like 100 something, like 101, 102. And even though there was shade, it's like not a lot of people wanted to do that, because it was just like, really hot. Heat index puts it up a little bit more, so it's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. But we did go on Sunday and just basically looked around, didn't do too much. We only went for like not even an hour or so. But yeah, if I'm it's like I said, I think in the first part of this vlog, if I was the coordinators for the fiesta, I would have knowing the heat and everything, I would have made an announcement of, hey, we're going to give you an extra day, and I would have paid the fee to keep the fiesta, at least for up until at least today. So that way people, can go out one more day and you actually enjoy it on a nicer day. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. That's just me. Hopefully they'll take that into consideration next year and be like, okay, let's let's handle this differently and go from there and see what happens. But yeah, just an interesting week. Outside of that, I had a cousin graduate from Las Positas College. She got her, I think, degree in photography or something like that, because she's been a photographer. That's her business. That's her livelihood. She's been doing that for many years now, and getting a doctorate or a degree in it, she can now, I think, open, not just, do a business from home, but she can actually get a building, I think, now with that degree, so she can go and do a lot more with, with her business and what she does. And then my second oldest nephew, his girlfriend graduated this weekend too. She got her GED. So yeah, just a bunch. Yeah, we had basically graduations all across the board in the family. One from high school, one from college, and then, one with a GED. So graduation week for the family, if you will. And and then like I said, you got the fiesta and all that, and it's like, okay, that's always a fun thing to do, but it felt like, it's gonna be too hot, too warm, on the day we normally would go. But we still went, and like I said, just spent about an hour or so there. Didn't do too much. The matriarch of our family, she got her local honey. She likes to get that, as well as she got her T-shirt. She likes to get a T-shirt every year. So yeah, it was a fun time. It was a fun weekend, a fun week, a short week for the matriarch. Because Memorial Day, and then she took Friday off for the graduation, and then she took today off because, she's like, look, I need to relax. They're like, look, I need to relax. I need to do this. I need to do that. And also because they went to fiesta, not even that for that long, but just enough to be like, look, even if I'm not there for that long, I just want to have time. Just want to have some time to myself. And and that's what they did. They took today off to have time to themselves. So that's basically why, in case you've been noticing, I haven't put anything up for a couple of days. That's why. And with the summer break season coming up within a week from Thursday, yeah, things are going to change. So I'm just letting you know that if you see anything be set up for premiere in the coming weeks, that's going to be the reason why. So, but yeah, anyway, though, interesting week, fun weekend, memorable weekend, and everything. And like I said, graduation at the Johansson High School was nice. The only thing they needed to do is make it more organized. Basically, as I said earlier, make sure people directed to the area, to whatever areas they could sit in, and maybe save some seats, but also direct them on how they can get out to the field to see to greet the graduates, their sons, their daughters, and all that. But yeah, outside of that, not too bad. And again, if the coordinators of something like the fiesta, and I know it's hot and everything, or it's going to be a hot weekend, I pay the extra fee and say, look, we know Monday's going to be cooler. We'll stay an extra day so you guys can really take a lot of stuff in. So that's just me. That's just me, and what I would do. But anyway, outside of that, just a decent week, short week, like I said, for certain matriarch, and just a fun graduation week, and that's all I can really say. But let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Again, sorry, this was split into a couple of parts. That's what you deal with, if you know what I mean, when you're in this kind of situation. But let me know what your thoughts are. And in 2 days, guys, get ready for a live stream, because in 2 days we celebrate 17 years with this channel. So be prepared for that. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later. But thank you all for watching. Do all the things in the description to help me out, to support me. Also, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video. And until next time, guys, I am out. And until then, take care. God bless. Peace.